another panel discussion with Aussizz Group. Now, my name is Ashwin, and we are here with an eminent panel to discuss about or give you some news about internationally qualified nurses and midwives. So, guys, we are here to talk about a course and the possibilities about how you can utilize the course for your PR pathway. So, we have familiar faces with us to help you answer your questions. I have registered migration agent, Aussizz Group, New South Wales, Vaibhav Patel here with me. And I have one of our senior counselors for education, Priyanka, to help you with the course. Now, guys, hopefully we have a very interactive session. And guys, please shoot out your questions regarding queries about the course, and we will be answering those questions with you. So, Priyanka, we have to start with you because you have some exciting news about graduate diploma in nursing. Is that right?
Yes. So I'm Priyanka and we'll be talking about Graduate Diploma of Nursing. Now, basically, what is this course? There are students who have studied Diploma of Nursing back home 4 years and are registered nurse back home. But basically, for them to be registered nurse in Australia, they either have to do a bachelor's or a master's. And for that, they would need a 7 each in IELTS, which is 65 each in PTE. Now, sometimes students are confused or maybe in a process where they cannot get 7 each. So what should they really do? Should they get into a course which will not give them a pathway? So there is a course called Graduate Diploma of Nursing where you can get in, and the entry exam is only 6.5, no less than 6. You have to be a registered nurse in your country, meaning you have to, for example, if you have done a diploma of nursing and midwifery, which is 4 years back in other countries, you'll have to be registered nurse and English of 6.5, and you'll get into this course. Back to you, Ashwin.
Now, Priyanka, something that actually caught my ear. You said that the PT requirements, I thought you needed a 7 to get into nursing, but you said you don't need that score. Is that right?
Yes, that is a pathway for those students who are actually struggling getting 7 each. So instead of wasting their time and trying multiple attempts to get 7 each, they might as well get into this course and start their career with nursing itself.
That sounds really great. Now, Priyanka, what colleges are providing this course?
At the moment, we have IHM, which is International Health Management College, and it's based in Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth. So only students based in Sydney, Melbourne, Perth can avail for this course. And it is quite flexible in terms of their payment as well. And it is as low as 19,750 altogether for this entire course.
That sounds really good. Now, what about other states, Priyanka? Do you know in the other states in Australia, how does this course work? Like, what are they providing?
Basically, in other states except for Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth, they would have to really go the other ways, like getting into Bachelors of Nursing and Masters of Nursing. They would have to get 7 each. So best way is come to our state, Sydney, Melbourne, or Perth.
That's good. So imagine if I'm coming to you and I have a nursing qualification from overseas. Now, according to your expert opinion, what do you think? Should I go for this graduate diploma of nursing, or should I be opting for a 3 year course? What do you think would be beneficial for me?
Look, it completely depends upon your choice. For example, if you're someone who thinks can get 7 each quickly, so you might as well just directly go into a Master's of Nursing program. But we see a lot of students say, majority of students struggle with 7 each, which is like each module. So I would really say, if you think you're going to struggle even for 2 or 3 attempts, it's better to get into this course to start off, so you'll not end up wasting your time at all.
Perfect. Now, what are my career prospects if I take this graduate diploma of nursing?
If you're just looking at graduate diploma of nursing, once you complete this graduate diploma of nursing, you can be working as clinical nurse specialist or nurse educator. You can also be a staff development nurse. But then if you want more career progressions, say you want to move to a manager position in the hospital as a registered nurse, you might want to do a master's course. Now, the catch of this course, like Graduate Diploma of Nursing, is it has direct articulation to masters. So you would have an option of Charles Darwin University and University of Wollongong. So for example, if you've completed Graduate Diploma of Nursing and you still want to progress in your career, you'll be into second year of masters, which is you saved 1 year of master's fee as well as your time.
That all sounds really well, Priyanka. Now, anything else that you would like to add on to this information that you're giving to us right now?
Look, in terms of education, really, you can never stop studying. You always have career progression. So, what I would say for those students who are, for example, here and want to pursue nursing career and are registered nurse back home, I would say it can be a little daunting if you've studied 4 years of nursing back home and you're asked to study 3 years of bachelors again, which is like 7 years to become the same registered nurse. I would say getting into graduate diploma of nursing would be a right and a short pathway to become registered nurse and again explore a career as registered nurse in Australia. Who are, for example, yeah.
Great. That sounds all good. Now, Priyanka, I just want you to brush again on the entry requirements
Sure.
of this course,
So,
please.
to get into graduate diploma of nursing, you need to be a registered nurse back home, meaning you need to have done 4 years of diploma of nursing and midwifery or bachelor of nursing back home because they would still not be qualified registered nurse in Australia. So you have to be registered nurse back home and you need English of 6.5 no less than 6 in IELTS, 58 no less than 50 in PTE to be able to get into this course.
That's all sounds good. Now, look, we have a lot of questions pouring in right now. So I believe I can address one of the questions from one of our viewers. Now, guys, just remember, if you're, don't worry, we will try our maximum level best to answer all of your comments. In case if we are not able to, we'll be getting in touch with you via an email or a personal message through Facebook. Now, oh, look, I believe most of the questions are more directed towards the PR pathways. So I believe Mr. Vaibhav Patel can shed some light into this for us. So, sir, what I wanted to ask you first of all is, if I do this graduate diploma in nursing, what are my eligibilities for a temporary resident visa here?
Okay, so I think the first thing that we should probably be understanding is whether this course leads to a registration or not, right? So this course, especially, I guess, if I'm not wrong, Priyanka, this course is specifically designed for the people. It's not like only these people can do it, but this course is good for this kind of people who have completed a diploma of nursing overseas, right? And for them to complete, let's say, get a registration as a registered nurse in Australia, they have to complete the bachelor degree, where they might have to just study a 2 years course or maybe 3 years of bachelor degree, right?
Yes.
So these people, who have completed 3 years of diploma in nursing overseas, and they cannot get a registration in Australia as a registered nurse. The reason is because countries like India, for example, where they complete a diploma in nursing and they become a registered nurse. But in Australia, to become a registered nurse, you need a bachelor degree. Now, if you study a diploma in nursing in Australia, you become an enrolled nurse. Now, in overseas countries like India, maybe there is no option for an enrolled nurse. So what happens is, when you go for a registration with AFRA, AHPRA, which is the registration body for nurses, the graduate from overseas with a diploma course will not be able to get a registration in Australia. The reason is because they had a diploma course and they were registered as a registered nurse. They can't even get a registration in Australia as an enrolled nurse. The reason is because they have the diploma level of qualification to become an enrolled nurse, yes. But were they registered in their home country as an enrolled nurse? No. So that's why they cannot apply for a registration as a registered nurse in Australia. So there is no option for this kind of people. So this course, if you study this course, it's, I think, if I'm not wrong, how long is the course, Priyanka?
1 year.
1 year, right? So just 1 year course and you become a registered nurse. Now, anyways, completing the registration process takes almost a year anyways, right? Because most of the people who have, let's say, completed a bachelor degree as well overseas, and this course is also good for this kind of people as well who have completed a bachelor degree overseas. Because let's say, even if you have completed a bachelor degree in nursing and you are a registered nurse in overseas country, for you to be able to register in Australia, most of the cases, unless you have completed studies like in USA and Canada and New Zealand, you might be able to get a registration faster, but then most of the other people will have to apply for a registration. They have to have the IELTS 7 each, which is proficient English, and then apply for registration, and then they have to complete an OBA, occupation-based assessment, which is a longer process. So because they have to go for they have to prepare themselves. There is a written exam and there is a practical clinical exam basically, and then they become a registered nurse. This entire process from applying for a registration and completing the exam and getting the full registration would almost take a 12 months period. Now in this 12 months period, you can simply study this diploma in nursing or graduate diploma in nursing and become a registered nurse in maybe 2 months or 3 months time after you complete the course. So it's a fast track to get a registration in Australia. That's the first thing, right? And even if you had a bachelor degree, let's say you don't want, if you don't want to go through this OBA exam because you're scared of the exams, and you don't want to go through a hassle of going through these exams, you can simply do this course, and this will really help you out uh, in completing this course. And by the way, you still need to do the OBA for after you complete the graduate diploma in nursing. But then it becomes easier for you to pass this course because you have already learned the Australian skill set that are required to become a registered nurse in Australia, right?
Now, I'm sorry
Uh,
to interrupt you, sir, but I'm not sure if this is the question for you, but what is an OBA, or what does the process look like? I'm not sure if it's a question for you or Priyanka, so if you can
yes,
help us with that, please.
OBA is an exam basically, because let's say you are an overseas country, you're a registered nurse overseas, but your skill set and the practice in other countries might be different from Australian practice, right?
I see.
So this exam is to bridge that gap, right? So let's say first thing is they want to see your knowledge. So that's why there is a written exam, right? So basically it's I think if I'm not wrong, it's a multiple choice question, right? And once you pass that exam, then there is a clinical exam that you have to go through. And once you pass this clinical exam, basically in this clinical exam, they see whether you have an ability to adapt to an Australian way of practicing nursing, right? So now it's very hard to explain how different countries would practice nursing. It's the same thing, but it's the way they do it is different, right? So that's all you're learning here, and then trying to show that, see, I have the knowledge about how to practice in Australia,
Right.
basically. So that's what they're going to see. Whether you have a technical knowledge, yes, you have it because you already have completed the qualification overseas, and whether you know how to practice in Australia. So that's what you need to learn and then go through these exams.
Great. Now, another question I have for you, Vaibhav, is if you can, what are the requirements for registration as a nurse?
So if you want to become a registered nurse, then you have to have, first thing is you have to have a qualification level of bachelor's or higher. So people who have a diploma in nursing overseas, they don't have the bachelor degree. So they have to go through the bachelor degree to complete this, right? So if they go to a graduate diploma in nursing, they met this first requirement, right? Which is that they have to have a bachelor degree or higher. Now graduate diploma is higher than the bachelor's. That's why AQF level is above, right? So that means the criteria. First thing, you need to have a proficient English, which is IELTS 7 each or PTE 65 in each, unless they change it, by the way. So a lot of people are concerned about this recent PT announcement,
I
which has
think we have
nothing to
a
do with the
question
migration.
here as well regarding this change.
Yes, so it has nothing to do with the migration or any of the assessments or any of the registration process for now, because there is no announcement from these bodies about this PT requirement. But anyways, for now, you need proficient English, which is IELTS 7 each, right? Then the next thing is that you need to have certain skill sets, basically, which is called recency of practice. You have to show all these things and apply for a registration. And you also have to pass obviously, you must be registered overseas as a registered nurse, and you must have completed the police checks, which is generally, international police checks to make sure that you have no criminal convictions. And you also have to obtain a certificate of good standing from your overseas country where you were registered as a registered nurse. And this requirement is must. So if I have completed a nursing qualification overseas, but I was never registered, then I can't be registered in Australia. So you have to first be registered there, and then only you can register in Australia, right? And then you have to complete. So once you apply for this one, you get a recommendation letter to complete an OBA. So with these documents, you apply for a registration. The AFRA will come back and say, hey, you got to complete this OBA exam. So then you register for OBA exam, pass these exams, and so written and clinical, and then you get a registration. Then you have to apply for a registration again, saying that okay, I've completed my OBA. Here is the proof, and then you get the actual registration in Australia to practice as a registered nurse.
I see. That's really informative. Thank you so
And
much.
also, Ashwin, I think Priyanka can also add on this one. that there are courses available for registered nurse who wants to go for an OBA exam, right? So basically there are short-term courses. I think Priyanka can explain
Sure.
that what are the short-term courses that registered nurse can study so that they can improvise their skills for an OBA exam.
Sure. First of all, let's touch base on how OBA came in picture. So how it would happen, say 3 years back, would a registered nurse come to Australia, enroll for IRON program. So first they would need a referral letter, then they would get an admission into IRON program, which would be 12 weeks. But what's happening these days is IRON program is getting limited and limiting, which is also called bridging program. Now we changed from bridging to EPIC, which again moved from 12 to 18 weeks. But then now they have announced OBA, which is outcome-based assessment. Outcome-based assessment is basically 2 exams, which is NCLEX and Aussizz. NCLEX is a MCQ. Okay, so I'll cover how you can get enrolled into this course, but I just want to explain or touch base into what these courses are or what this part are. So with NCLEX, what happens is it's a theory part. You'll be given MCQs. So basically, if you're practicing this course, the chances are when you sit for the exam, you will be given the same question. So it's not going to be very hard for you to pass this exam, which is the first part, which is MCQ. It is held by Pearson. So the dates are available across. So you'll not struggle with the dates of NCLEX. But then when it comes to Aussizz, it is only offered, say, twice or thrice a year. Now, Aussizz, what Aussizz is once you are sitting for this exam, there'll be 4 tables, okay? So in each tables, you'll be allotted 15 minutes. And you'll be given, say, for example, first table is first aid, second table is cardiopulmonary. So, for example, you passed, if you did 15 minutes, you would be able to know if you have done well or not, because registered nurse overseas would know if they have done right or not. So if you have failed this first part, even if you've done 3 settings, which is good, you will not make it. You will not make it to registration. So you have to sit the exam again. So there are maximum 3 attempts. So again, you have to wait. So you missed out on Aussizz, you wait again until whenever it's available next. So now it can be a little daunting because you know a little bit about OBA, but how is it going to work? So previously there was no preparatory courses. Okay. Now they have announced preparatory courses. Preparatory courses offered by IHM, ETA, and NETA. So what happens is, I would also want to highlight with NCLEX is, for example, you're overseas. And with the current situation with COVID, you cannot come here, you're lacking behind in time and in terms of registration. I've also come across students who were here, who did Master of Public Health and were still struggling with 7 each, didn't know what to do, went back, and now they're back home and got 7 each, have gotten referral letter. Now, what do they do? Because once you get the referral letter, you need to finish your bridging program within 1 year. I've also had a student who has an offer letter for bridging program, but they will not be able to make it because they are overseas. So what can they do? With NCLEX, you can be back home. You can register for NCLEX and start preparing and take exam. So NCLEX is offered for 12 weeks. If you want to put it money-wise, it's going to cost you 3,500 AUD to complete NCLEX. So after 12 weeks of course, if you think you're ready, you book the test because it's available as PTE. So you can book the test and take the MCQs and pass it. Now with Aussizz, the problem is you have to be here because there's only one simulation center, which is in Adelaide. Now, I would also say, for example, if you really want to have a career in Australia and become a registered nurse, you might as well try to come here on a tourist visa because Aussizz is 6 weeks course because you have to have a clinical placement. So you can even come here and do that because there's no restriction in terms of, that you cannot do it on a tourist visa because it's a simulation program. So you finish it and you can just book the test. You can plan it accordingly. So Aussizz is going to cost you $4,000, 4,000 Australian dollars. Now for registration, if you're looking at booking NCLEX exam, it's going to cost you $350, 350 USD altogether to book an NCLEX exam. And when you're looking at booking Aussizz, it is 4,000 AUD. So you're looking at investing that much money for clearing this OBA exam. But what's the best part is when OBA was introduced, I think around end of 2018, we really didn't have idea what OBA is going to look like. Then these providers came in and then they told us this is how OBA is going to look like. Then students are more prepared because see, if you have 3 attempts and you're going to fail, if you don't have any idea on how OB is going to work, you might as well take this chance, invest about $8,000 to complete this course and then make sure that you become registered nurse instead of, just throwing out your 3 attempts. So that's about NCLEX and OSCE. Over to you, Ashwin.
Priyanka, just to refresh, so you said that there was some colleges who were helping with preparation.
Yes.
Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Could you tell us who were they, just to give us a brief?
It's IHM, ETA, and NETA. If you want to get into this course, of course, you can always come to us and we'll help you with the admission. It's going to cost you $8,000 altogether. You can pay it in as many installments as you can. So, nothing's going to stop you from really getting prepared for this course. And I would really advise students to just not attempt OBA without preparation. Yeah.
Great. Now, viewers, that was a very informative session. It was pretty enlightening because now you know the will and Vaibhav has shown you the way. Now, guys, we have a lot of questions in our comments, and I think it's time that we address them and, we try to give them as much as a good explanation. Well, let's start with the first question. And the first question, I believe this has been the hot topic for the past 2 days. It's from one of our viewers. Is the new PT score applied for everyone, or will it be for the people who are taking the new exam? And I think Mr. Vaibhav has given a short explanation for that, right, sir?
Yes, so I will just recap it. So international people who are trying to apply for any visa in Australia, don't worry, because this PTS announcement has nothing to do with your visa application. As simple as that. One line answer. Are you impacted? No.
Great. Okay. Now the next question. It's not so much related to our topic of discussion, but it's out there. So the question is getting 491 possible for nursing in aged care?
So yes, obviously the 491 is possible for nursing in aged care, because as long as you're a registered nurse, doesn't matter you're in aged care or you're in any other specialization, like let's say critical care or medical practice, that doesn't really matter, because as long as you meet the 491 state nomination criteria, if you're intending to apply for a state nomination, whatever state you're intending to apply with, just need to make sure that you're registered. Like for example, New South Wales requires you to have a job offer in the region of New South Wales for 12 months full time. Then you just have to have a job offer, and once the state nomination opens, if your occupation is there, you simply can apply for a state nomination.
Now, I guess the next question is sort of kind of related to what we discussed today. And I think it will need both your input. So the question is, my daughter just appeared year 12 from New South Wales. We are not permanent residents. So what's the pathway to get her admission for nursing?
Okay, so if she's done year 12, she would still need 7 each in IELTS to get into a Bachelors of Nursing program or even Diploma of Nursing program. So depending upon what she's interested, she can do a Diploma of Nursing leading to Bachelors of Nursing. It's anyways going to come out 3.5 years altogether, or she can directly get into Bachelor of Nursing. The entry requirement will be 7 each. But if she has done year 12 in Australia, which is the medium of studies is English, she will be waived for English as well.
Great. Now, the next question is, what are the PR options for international nurses if they want to apply for 190?
Okay, so Hundal Gurjit, so that's the
that's the person's name.
Okay, so Hundal, basically for 190, it depends on which state you are. Most of the states nomination has a registered nurse as an open occupation, right? Pretty much. So let's say, for example, New South Wales, they say, okay, we rank people based on the points. So whenever they open up for invites, I guess, yes, it's a good chances. Now 190, pretty much I would say, if you have a good profile and if you are having a work experience in your field, pretty much wherever you are, whichever state you are in, definitely you can apply for a 190. For example, let's say Canberra requires you to work 6 months full time in your nominated occupation and then lodge the metrics. Now with metrics, you'll have enough points, I'm sure, to get an invitation in nursing. Similarly, let's say Tasmania says work 6 months full time and you'll get a state nomination from Tasmania as well. Similarly, Victoria also requires you to work 6 months full time. They don't even say full time, it's just 6 months in your nominated occupation. which is nurse, he can apply. Then, similarly, like let's say South Australia also requires the same thing. Queensland has not announced their nomination criteria, but most likely it's going to be similar criteria. So if you see, most of the states are asking that, okay, you gotta work in your field for 6 months or 12 months, and we will give you a state nomination. Most of the time it's gonna be like this.
Great. All right. Now the next question is from Arjun. My wife have 7 each band. Is there any Bachelor of Nursing such as graduate entry in regional area?
Mostly the intakes are full, but if she wants to have graduate entry, she can try for Perth. Perth would have graduate entry options open yet, but she'll have to really rush and put in the application as soon as possible because these kind of courses fill in very quick. There is some spots available in Hawkesbury campus, but I might have to check if Hawkesbury is still reasonable.
Yeah, so Arjun, please get in touch with us to know if we have any more seats left for the program. Now, next question is to Priyanka, and it's from Vikram. So he says, hi, Priyanka. My sister did PLC nursing 6 years ago, and now she completed her Bachelor in Nursing this year back in Nepal. Is there any options that my sister can directly apply PR from Nepal? She have got 7 years experience in nursing. Thank you.
I think this is more migration related.
Yeah, so I'll take this question. Basically, yes, see, Bikram, your sister can apply, but then, as I mentioned before, that she has to go through the process. She has to get the 7 in English, basically 7 each in IELTS, or proficient English, let's say, get PT 65 each, and then apply for registration. After that, she will be given a recommendation letter to complete the OBA. She has to complete this OBA and then apply for once she comes, so to complete OBA, she will have to come to Australia on a visitor visa or something. And then after completing the registration process, she can certainly apply for a permanent residency. But it won't be possible directly from Nepal because she has to come in and complete the OBA exam here. So I hope this explains how your sister can proceed further. And if you have any further questions, you can always contact us.
Absolutely. Now, the next question is from Ayash. Have nursing degree with 10 years of experience. Please advise me.
Ayash. So we would also need to know where was it, and have you been working? Do you have IELTS of 7 each? Or if you are overseas nurse, then we might have to look into your profile. I will not be able to based on the question. So if you could just give us more detail, I'll be able to help you with the question.
So Ayash, if you're still tuning in, please do get in touch with us with a bit more information so we can give you the correct advice, okay? Moving on, again, we have a question from Hundal Gurjeet. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. After doing graduate diploma, is it possible to get RN here in Australia?
It wouldn't be directly. They will still have to sit for an OBA exam or do a bridging program or move to masters. It's just a 1-year pathway so that you do not miss out on what's happening in the industry. You'll still have to sit for an OBA exam.
Okay, thank you so much for addressing that question. Now, the next question is for Vaibhav, and it's from Nabil. So Nabil says, hi Vaibhav, I'm on a 457 visa and I revived my 457 in July 2018. As I had my previous student visa expire in April 2018. After that, I have BVB from May till July 2018. Can you please tell me, let me know, can I apply 186 after April next year, or I have to wait till July? Thanks. Now, I believe this is not a part of our topic for tomorrow. Vaibhav, if you can give some.
Now, obviously, Nabil, I can answer this question, but honestly, I don't know which occupation you have applied for a 457 visa. So that would be a big question. If your occupation is, let's say, related to nursing, yes, and if you were on a 457 visa or you applied for a 457 visa on or before 18th of April 2017. So if you had the 457 visa on this date, or you were an applicant on this date, which is 18th of April 2017, then you can apply for a 186 visa after 2 years. And if you were not the visa holder, a 457 visa holder, or an applicant for a 457 visa on 18th of April 2017, then you have to wait for 3 years and then apply for a 160 RT stream.
All right, Nabil, I believe that answers your question, but then again, please do try to get in touch with us with a bit more information so we can guide you correctly. Now, again, the next question is for Vaibhav. Hi, Vaibhav. If we are PR and we have become nursing degree from overseas, how can we get registration for nursing in Australia?
Okay, so Kamlesh, if you have a bachelor degree from overseas in nursing, even if you're a permanent resident, the process remains the same, which is registration, right? So get a 7 each in IELTS, OPT, or any other test that the AFRA would accept, and then apply for the registration. Then you'll be invited to complete the OBE exam or a bridging course, and then complete one of them, and then get a registration in Australia, and then you can work as a registered nurse.
Great. Now, the next question is from Samir. How much bands are needed for Diploma of Nursing?
Graduate diploma or diploma? If it's diploma, you still need 7 each. If it's graduate diploma, you would need 6.5 no benefits.
I think that was a very succinct answer to that. Thank you so much, Priyanka. Now, again, Samir has added to that question. Samir is asking, does the PR holders also need 7 each to study a diploma?
Diploma of nursing again, 7 each.
Okay.
Graduate diploma, 6.5.
And I think also, Samir, if you are intending to study diploma in nursing, then you become an enrolled nurse, not a registered nurse. Whereas graduate diploma, if you have a bachelor degree or a diploma in nursing already from overseas, then this will lead you to registration as a registered nurse. So there is a big difference between diploma and graduate diploma, because one will take you to enrolled nurse occupation, and another one will take you to registration, registered nurse.
Thank you so much for clarifying that, Vaibhav. Now, moving on, I have a question from Sandhya, and she's asking, hi, even bachelor in nursing from India can do this graduate diploma instead of NCLEX or OBA?
I said, yeah, you can definitely do graduate diploma, but eventually you have to do NCLEX and Aussizz to get registration.
Okay. I think we have to clarify a bit more regarding the NCLEX and Aussizz. So Priyanka, if you wouldn't mind, could you please give us that information once more?
Sure. I would first go back to, because I think we are receiving a lot of questions in terms of, if I do graduate diploma of nursing, do I become registered nurse? Look, it's basically for those students to cover the gap from diploma to bachelor's. Because to be a registered nurse, you need to have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. So if you've done a diploma of nursing and you do the graduate diploma of nursing, it covers the gap. And then it becomes AQF level 8 equivalent. And then you move on. So you finish graduate diploma of nursing. Now you become bachelor of nursing, to keep it very simple. Now after graduate of nursing, you become equivalent to bachelor of nursing. And then you move on, get the 7 each, get the referral letter, and then get recommendation from APRA for OBA. Now moving on, what is NCLEX and what is Aussizz? As I said, NCLEX is a MCQ exam. So basically, for example, what are the steps of first aid, right? So you have 4 questions. So there's no like a right or wrong answer. It's just depending on how do you scroll it, and how you in PT exam, how do you scroll down and then keep the first step in the first stage, and then second stage, and the third stage. So if you keep on practicing, you will end up passing NCLEX. The NCLEX would not be a big deal. Also because the test is available and it's going to cost you 350 USD, which is still, I would say, a small significant amount of really doing the test. But Aussizz is what matters, because Aussizz is a real-time practical exam. You'll be given 60 minutes to complete this exam. There'll be 4 settings. So for example, there'll be 4 tables in your simulation lab. There'll be robots assigned to you. They would have certain problems. And then you'll be given 15 minutes for each table. Okay. Now, in that 15 minutes, you have to finish whatever is asked. For example, your dummy is having a sort of breath, they cannot breathe. So you have to finish that off in 15 minutes. If you do not complete it, you move to second table. And then you move to third table, and then the fourth table. Yeah. So if you have failed one part of it, you'll fail 4 of them, irrespective of how brilliant the rest 3 of them went. You'll fail it. So you get another attempt. So you'll get 3 attempts to finish Aussizz.
Great. Thank you so much for taking us through the process again, Priyanka. That was really informative. Now, the next question is from Sebastian, and Sebastian asks, are the English requirements the same for the graduate diploma in nursing and enrollment to masters in nursing after finishing the graduate diploma in nursing?
Look, so with Master of Nursing, we have to be specific on what Master of Nursing we're talking about, because there are a lot of Master of Nursing International. Okay, so these are not accredited programs. So the one I said, the articulation from graduate diploma to Master of Nursing, it's Master of Nursing International. So for example, you have 6.5, no less than 6, you came to graduate diploma of nursing, you went on second year of Master of Nursing International. You would not need 7 years. But you finish graduate diploma of nursing, you want to move to Master of Nursing, which is accredited, for example, which is offered by University of Sydney. So you would need 7 years in that case.
Great. Now, guys, look, I believe we are almost, we have a time restriction, so it's almost time to wrap up. So any final points that you would like to add to today's information session, Priyanka?
What I would say is, if this sounds something like you, just get in touch with us as soon as possible, and we'll be able to get you help even in OBA preparatory course or getting to graduate of nursing. The admission process should not take you more than 2 or 3 days. Yeah.
Great. And Vaibhav, any more information that you'd like to impart for our viewers?
Yes, I guess, a lot of people have questions about master's degree after graduate diploma in nursing, right? So I want to clarify that, okay, for a graduate diploma in nursing, entry requirement, as Priyanka mentioned, is comparatively lower, which is 6.5 overall, no less than 6, correct, Priyanka?
Yep.
And then once you complete this course, then you can obviously go to an articulated master's degree where, you'll get into second year of a master's in nursing. Excuse me, I'm not an education consultant, so I won't know much about it. So I might take Priyanka's opinion on that as well. And then, but then there are certain master's degree which are accredited by AFRA. So if you're going into that one, you might have to check again. So as Priyanka mentioned, that every individual might have a different combination to go with, right? But yes, most of the people's question that, okay, if I want to go for a master's of nursing, yes, you can always go after a graduate diploma in nursing as well, and you might get certain credit transfers if you're not going into the articulated course as well, right? So yes, and then regarding the registration process, as I said, if you are completing the graduate diploma, complete the OBA. This is especially for the people who have completed diploma in nursing overseas. They can complete this course and become a registered nurse after completing OBA, because they don't have a bachelor degree overseas. So they kind of stuck. They can't go here, they can't go there. They have to complete the bachelor degree, which is 2 years or 3 years. So this is a faster pathway to get through. And people who have a Bachelor of Nursing, they can also directly go to an OBE exam. So this course might not be really helpful for you, but it really depends, on what you're looking for. If you do really want to learn, yes, this is still a course that you can take, right? And PR-wise, obviously nursing, that it's pretty much all the nurses, as I said, most of the time, either any skill visas, employer sponsorship visas, registered nurse can easily get through on these visas, because there is a huge demand, there is a skill shortages, and most of the state nomination programs are also encouraging nurses to apply for. And during the COVID period, most of the state had only critical care occupations being sponsored, which is nursing, which is one of the occupations which is on the list, and right now as well on the Department of Home Affairs priority migration skill occupation list. The nurses are there, so it's 100% sure that, like I can't say 100%, but I'm quite sure that we will probably go through one or the other visa program, and you'll definitely qualify for one of those programs.
Great. Now, guys, as I said, we are about to wrap up. Now, I can see the comments are still pouring in. Guys, keep commenting on it, because we will be getting in touch with you and giving you the best answers, so that you can either give us a call or you can move ahead with the answers that we give. Now, Vaibhav and Priyanka, thank you so much for sharing a lot of information with our viewers today. I'm pretty sure it has been helpful for them to know how graduate diploma in nursing, what is graduate diploma in nursing, and what they can do with that specific degree. And thank you so much for your time with us today.
Thank you for having us.
No problem, Ashwin. Thank you very much for having us.
No problem, guys. On that note, thank you so much. This is Ashwin from Aussizz Group. Have a great weekend and